Welcome to this lesson on the lovely old hymn, He Who With Valiant Be, sometimes known as To Be a Pilgrim. We're going to learn it on this DG Melodeon. I'm using my Dino Buffetti today. It's a two-voice instrument, so it's a bit louder, it's a bit heavier, but the one good thing about it is obviously the bellows are a bit bigger, so I don't have to worry too much about the bellows closing up so much as I do on my Castagnari Lily that I often use for these lessons. This hymn was originally based on words by John Bunyan, who you may recall wrote Pilgrim's Progress back in the 17th century. The original words were adapted slightly in the early part of the 20th century, and the tune that we generally sing, which is called Monk's Gate, is an old folk tune that was developed and arranged by Ralph Vaughan Williams. So it's a very stirring hymn, one of my absolute favourites. And we're going to play it in the key of G major, so that means that everything on the G row will have the normal heads, anything on the D row will have diamond heads with my music. 4/4 time signature, so counting in fours in each bar. The first bar is a complete bar, not a pickup bar. A lot of these tunes start with an incomplete pickup bar, don't they? But this one doesn't. It's got a complete bar of 4 beats to start the tune, and like I say, G major, so all your Fs are sharp. Now I've set my metronome to 140 beats per minute. That sounds like this. So it's fairly brisk. And that's the kind of tempo we're going to work with. So the first bar, it says pos -1 above the bar. And that means to say that you are in this position. Now, unlike my Castagnari Lily, this instrument is a third button start. So third button down on the G row, push gives me G, and on the D row I get a D note. So pos -1 is here. So the second finger is on the root note. So on this particular Melodeon it's buttons 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's the position. The first page is actually 4 bars played twice. Let's have a look at that first bar. So we are in pos -1. So the first note is G, so finger 2 on that note. It's a dotted crotchet, so it lasts for the whole of the first beat, half of the second beat. Then you have a quaver, which is an A. Same button, just pulled out. And then we drop to the button below that. Pushing gives us B, and return to the G. So that gives us... Now notice the way that I sounded that second note, that A, was simply by reversing the bellows. I didn't replay the note, although you can if you want, and my sign for that is a dagger underneath the note. Okay, now the left hand on that first bar is G bass, G chord, twice. Now I use my little finger on the G bass and my third finger on the G chord so that I can use fingers 2 and 1 on the top 2 buttons. Not everyone does that, but that's the way I prefer to play. So our first bar sounds like this. Notice you play the G chord before you play that A quaver. So you count it 1, 2 and 3, 4. So mainly on the push, but 1 note on the pull. And the second bar sounds like this. Now obviously I'm playing it a bit slower than 140 beats per minute at the moment. That's why we're learning it. So the right hand on that second bar, it's B, finger 3. If I hang on to the button and pull out, I get C. Go to the button below, push, I get D, that's little finger. And same button pulled out, I get E. So it's... Now notice there, that I can play by 1 press of the button, but here, because it's pretty slow, I tend to replay the button. I could go like that, but I think it's better to actually replay the button to get that final note, that E. Now it starts with 2 quavers, so that's 1 and. The D note is a crotchet, so that's beat 2, and the E, that minim, round open note, the stem, comes in on beat 3 and lasts for beats 3 and 4. So 1 and 2, 3, 4. The left hand on that bar is G bass, G chord again, but then come over to C bass, C chord. So G bass, G chord, C bass, C chord. So you'll play those first two quavers while you play the G bass. You'll play the D note with the G chord, and you'll play the E note with the C bass, and you'll hold on to it while you play the C chord. So the first two bars. Like that. It's beginning to come together. You can hear the tune pretty clearly, I think. Bar number 3, same area, position -1. The right hand. Pretty easy. It's a minim, a crotchet, and another crotchet. And the minim is D. We played that D in the previous bar. It's this button when the fourth finger falls. Hold it for 2 beats, play it again, and then come up 2 buttons, still pushing, and you play the note G where you started. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So very straightforward this. The bass line, G bass, G chord, just watch where it all slots together. And don't forget, if you've got a 4th button start instrument, all this will be 1 button lower than I'm playing it. Bar number 4, the right hand. It's button 2 on this instrument. Pulled out gives me F sharp. And then I go back to the note that I started on with the G. Now the F sharp is a crotchet and the G is a dotted minim. So the F sharp comes in on beat 1 and the G comes in on beat 2 and lasts for the rest of that bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The left hand there is a D bass. That's the same button that we played for G bass, but just pulling out. And then you come in again, pushing for G chord, G bass, G chord. So it's D bass, G chord, G bass, G chord. So that sounds like this. Right, so let's play those first 4 bars at speed. Okay, let's play it a bit slower for you. Obviously the speed is up to you. I've heard this sung and played really slowly and quite briskly. I quite like it at the speed I've picked, 140, but if you find that too fast or you don't like that speed, by all means slow it down. Now the good news is the next 4 bars are the same as the first 4 bars, so we can play that first page all the way through now. Don't forget to pull your bellows out a bit so you've got enough air in the bellows to deal with all those push notes. Couple of reminders there, keep the whole thing square, don't let it drop down like that on the left hand side. And also don't forget to use the air button. Let's see if I can show you where that comes. Keep your eye on my thumb here. See, when I play the F sharp I push the air button in so I can pull the bellows out, but obviously when you push that air button in you lose compression, you lose volume, so you have to pull a bit harder to compensate for that. So you obviously want to keep the volume even throughout. And there, see, on that E, same thing. I mean, obviously it's going to vary from instrument to instrument. Obviously the bigger the Melodeon, the bigger the bellows probably, and the less that you'll have to worry about the air in them. This is a kind of medium-sized Melodeon, so it's not sort of too bad, but you know, do have to use that air button every now and again. It's an intrinsic part of the playing, is what I'm trying to say. Right, let's move on to bar 9 and the second page. Now this is where we drop down from pos -1 to pos +2. and we're going to play this. Quite an interesting bar. The right hand there, so finger 1. Now, you see we've got a couple of notes on the D row. They've got diamond heads. It's G and E. And the reason we're playing the notes on the D row is because we want E bass and E minor. And they're only available on the pull. So push for the D, that's a minim, and then 2 crotchets on the pull, G, E, fingers 4 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass line there is G bass and E bass. So G bass, G chord, and E bass, E minor chord. Okay? And obviously you play that G bass and G chord while you are playing the D minim, and the G and the E notes on the D row are played in time with the E bass and E minor chord. So, now bar number 10, pretty interesting bar. The button we've just played, we push in to get F sharp, and then we go over to the G row for the note G, come back to the D row for the F sharp, and pull out to get the E. So it's push, 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 pull. Okay. Okay, so the bass line for bar 10, we have B bass, that's this button here, button 2, inside row. It doesn't matter whether you've got B major or B minor here, they'll both work, okay? Probably B major's better, if I'm honest, but B minor is fine. It will work with the F sharp note and the G note, and then you come down to C bass, C chord on the pull. So that's what you're looking for. Everything on the inside row. So that bar both hands. Let's play those first 2 bars of that page. Now bar 11, we come up to position home, so the first finger is on the root note. For me it's button 3, and the note we actually want is D, which is 2 buttons below that. Notice the first thing we encounter in bar 11 is a crotchet rest. I always call this the upturned seagull, and it is a 1 beat rest, so it's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you're coming on beat 2, the D note, finger 3 on the push, and then the button above on the push gives us B, the button above on the pull gives us A, and push, same button gives us G. So it's, and again you've got that dagger symbol indicating you can play the A without repressing the button. The bass line there, G bass, G chord twice, so put that together. Now so you've got the G bass first, because that's where the crotchet rest is on the right hand. So it's rest 2, 3 and 4. Now in bar number 12, right hand wise, we go to the B, remember in position home, so it's button 4, finger 2. It might be button 5 for you if you've got a 4th button start, don't forget. So same button pulled out gives us C, button below on the push gives us D. 1, 2, 3, 4. So push, pull, push. Now the left hand's pretty interesting here. We have G bass and G chord played together, C bass and C chord played together, and then we have D bass, D chord, and I put asterisks by those because they are chin end. That's something peculiar to me. If you had C basses on the push or D basses on the push, I put asterisks by them, and so it's buttons 2 and 1 on the outside row, chin end, okay? So that's bass line wise, that's what we're looking for, and put it together. Right, let's play the first 4 bars of this page. We're getting near the end now. There's only 16 bars. I wouldn't class this as too hard a piece. It's probably bordering between easy and medium. Now in bar 13, we've got another one of those bars that starts with a crotchet rest. and we're still in position home. So now the right hand there, it's G, D, D. So crotchet rest, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and so the G comes in on beat 2, the D comes in on beat 3, lasts for the whole of beat 3, half of beat 4, and on the end count of 4, halfway through beat 4, we play the D again. So it's 1, like that. The left hand, we do something that we often do with a bass when we're playing in G. We play G bass, G chord, and then B bass, G chord. B bass, remember, is button 2, inside row, and then we return to the G chord. Okay. Here I'm not pushing it hard now, so I'm not firing all the reeds. Push it a bit harder and it works. So put both hands together there. Notice how I take the G chord off before I play the final quaver D. Now, still in that position home, that home position, we've got this nice run. And the run down is like this. It's E, D. For me, that's 1 press of the button, and then the same thing on the button above that to get C, B. So pull, push, pull, push. And then finger 1 falls nicely on the A on the pull, and then notice I use my little finger, not the third finger that's in position, but my little finger, and it's a change of position. We come up 1 into position -1 because we want to reach this F sharp at the end of the tune, so it's kind of looking ahead. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. The bass for bar number 14 is C bass, C chord on the pull, and then D bass, D chord on the pull. So very much a pull bar with the odd push. So usual advice on those push notes, make sure there's no bass ringing. So and then bar 15, very near the end now. Went into bar 16, and you'll see why we've moved into position -1, because we want that F sharp there with finger 1, and it's right hand wise D, G, F sharp, G, 4 crotchets, very easy, and you tie that G into the next bow, don't replay it. It's tied to a dotted minim, so it's held for a total of 4 beats, and the 4th beat of the last bar of the tune, bar 16, is a rest, just so you can restart the tune if you want. And the left hand there, G bass, G chord, D bass, G chord, and then G bass, G chord, G bass, G chord. So let's play the whole of the second page. Okay, so that's it. Now, on bars 2 and 3 and on bars 6 and 7, there's the opportunity to do a little harmony. Let me show you how that works. Now, it's pretty simple to do. I'm talking about bar number 2, where you did this. All you do is play the button directly above that one, and if you just do the same pushes and pulls, you'll be fine. So instead of going, you'll put finger 2 on the button above and get a harmony, and then we do this where finger 4 is, put finger 3 on the button above that and do a push pull. So instead of, you'll have got a nice 2-part harmony where the tune is on top and the harmony is below, and then the same in bar 3. So finger 4 is the normal note, the note you've played already. Put finger 3 on the button above that. And when you go to the note G with finger 2, put finger 1 on the button above that. So you'll go, and then go back to your normal single note. So, same again. It's just a nice little touch. If you want to play the tune through 3 times, maybe do that on the 3rd time through. The bass line is not affected by that at all. It'll sound like this. Just a nice little touch you can do there. On the very last time, end like this. Just play a G bass and a G chord together on that last bar rather than keep going with your G bass, G chord separately, because it'll end up in the air if you do that. So let's play the whole thing through for you. We'll do it 3 times with that harmony on the 3rd time as I suggested. So there we are. Hope very much that you enjoy learning this fine old hymn. I really enjoy playing it myself. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you hit that bell icon, you'll get a notification every time I upload something to YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll see me in the next video.